So what we did is we have overhauled my reports. So we have 2 brand new reports, and then we made some updates to our older reports. So the course summary and course detail reports got some updates. At this time, we do have the older version still up. So if you do like the older version, you can continue to use it for the time being, but I do foresee us removing those within the next month or 2 because it does take a little bit of effort to keep many versions of the report up. So we'll start with the first new report, which we call the Order User Summary Report. We've had a lot of requests over the years where you guys are just trying to quickly get some information. You want to see, did your teachers complete their required 6 hours, 30 hours, 10 hours, whatever. So that's the information that we've put in this report. Now it does go back to the beginning of time. So if you've been in our system for a long time, you're going to see a lot of data. The way to kind of work with that is by using our filters at the top. So every single column header that you see here has a box where you can type information in and parse it down and filter it down to what you need to see. We also have this cool tool called the column chooser. This allows you to bring in columns. So if you want to see more information, if we have it available, you can see it. And if you don't want to see information, like I don't care about the username, you just drag and drop it and you get rid of it. If you want to see something else at the front, you just move it over, and you can move the columns however you like. So the nice thing about it is as long as you're not using an incognito window like I currently am, it'll actually save your preferences. So every time you come back in, it's going to remember what you had. Important note about that is if you have actually searched for someone and you don't clear your field, when you come back in, it's going to only have that person. So what you can do if you need to, if you're seeing really limited data and you're not sure why, you can use this reset grid button down at the bottom and it'll reset it to the default settings, which will mean you need to move around your columns again or pick your columns again. But that ensures that you've cleared out all of your data. So I'm in a testing account that we use for any of our system testing. So you'll see some goofy names. I like Harry Potter, so we have Ronald Weasley here. So what this report does is it allows you to see how many courses a person has completed, how many incomplete courses, hours completed, and hours incomplete, like at a glance. It also has a few more things where you can see like the total number of hours started, unused, number of registered hours, courses not started. So it's a lot of information. But we tried to provide everything that we thought might be useful to you. So, sorry, what now? No questions? Okay. So cool thing, I don't know if you guys know this about this report, but what you can actually do if you want some more ways to see exactly the information you want to see is you can move things up to the top so that you're grouping by those items. So if you wanted to just group by different orders, you could do that. I filtered it down before I did it, so you're only seeing one order. And this allows you to kind of get more precise information. Now, all of our reports do allow for you to export to Excel. Once you export, you can open it in Numbers, Google Sheets, or Excel. We have discovered that with some of our people who have been in the system for a long time, it does pull back a lot of data. So if you get an error message across the top, it's a little red banner that says unspecified network error when you try to export to Excel. That means you've tried to pull back too much data and our system actually timed out on trying to pull that information. So what we have had requested is that we get some date filters up here or the option for date filters. So what I think we're going to end up doing, like I said, I work with our programming team, so I'll propose this with them, is going to be something like we did with managed participants, where you have these tabs. You can choose to either see users by a date or see all users. And I think that's going to be what we end up doing with the My Reports to allow you to filter that data down a little bit, or at least have a simple option for filtering it down a little bit. because we don't want to limit you too much, and we felt like our last reports were doing that. But at the same time, we don't want you constantly having the unspecified network error issue, because I know that that can be a little frustrating. So before I move on from this report, are there any questions?
Yeah, could you highlight that column chooser box again?
Yeah, so this is the column chooser box right here.
So we just click on that little icon?
And you just click on the icon, and then once you've moved your stuff around, you just exit. So if I don't want to see email address, I just move it out. If I want to see contract ID, I just move it in. Any other questions?
And then can you reset? You can reset that whole thing as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I reset it, it's going to pull back all the information again. So that means I started this session having it sparse down to exactly what I wanted to kind of show off, what I thought is most helpful. So it's going to bring back in all those columns again, take away all of my searching. Another cool tool that we have that I think a lot of people don't realize is this little magnifying glass here allows you to use the filters in various ways. So you can do a contains, does not contain, starts with, ends with, equals, does not equal. And then if you have sparsed it down and you need to reset, it allows you to reset it. So, and that is above every single column that we have. Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on. So we have made some edits to the course summary report. This one did not contain a lot of information in the old format. Some of you might be familiar with it, but it had this interactions complete, and then it was a checkbox. So we, over the years, a lot of people have said, hey, that's not really clear. Can you do something differently or explain it in a different way? So what we've done in the new format is we've broken it down so that there's a little more clarity. So once again, I've used my column chooser here to sparse down to what I think you guys might find useful. And I can move stuff in again if I need to, and move stuff out if I don't like it. Another cool thing that we've done on this one that we've had requests for over the years is we've put a direct link for the certificate in this report. So if we have some districts that actually print off their certificates for all of their teachers doing training. They don't ask the teachers to submit the certificates. They actually have people who go in there and get them all. So we've put that direct link right in there. And we've changed the format of our certificate. So now when you print it or when you go to save it, it downloads directly as a PDF versus having to print and save as PDF or some other finagled way to get it as a PDF. So we've had requests over the years to get that directly as a PDF, and so we've switched it over to that. So in this report, you get to see your course name, your sign up date, course start date, course last progress, complete date, and then the things that we've added, many of our courses have multiple modules. So we've added information regarding the modules and reflective questions, because we do get a lot of requests where you'll have a teacher say, well, I know I completed everything and they don't have a certificate available. This lets you see directly what they're missing. So if you have a user who has not completed all of their modules or reflective questions, you can see in this report, hey, no, you still have an incomplete module. And then you get to see the final course grade and potential credit hours. And once again, you can kind of break it down. So if we see Nature and Needs, which is a 6-hour course with, I think, 8 modules. Or one of them has 8 modules. We have 2 different courses. You can see for this user that they've completed 8 out of 8. This is probably some test data that we've forced through. So we've forced it through without them needing all of the required reflective questions. And then their certificates are there on this report directly. And like I said earlier, we will leave the older version up for a little bit. And we are looking into getting dates on here because I know that we've had that requested where Some of you are looking to see where you just want to see maybe a calendar year or a school year. So we'll apply some date filters for you for the course sign up date. That'll be the best date to use. Otherwise, information is going to fall out of the report. And like I said earlier, we'll probably do it in a way where you have the choice where you can choose filter by date or see everything. Any questions? No? Okay. So we've made some edits to the course detail report. For those of you who are familiar with the old one, it showed not only a breakdown of the modules, but it also included all of the reflective questions, which meant it was a really bulky report, especially for our multi-module courses. So we'll just kind of take a look at that really quickly. Let's see. Put in nature and needs. So for nature and needs for just one user, it would take up, 20 something rows because it's going to show every single module and then all of the reflective questions. And it was just really bulky. So we decided to break that up a bit. So in the new format, we are just showing the module information with some direct information on what they have completed and what is incomplete for the modules. So if we look at nature and needs in the new format, we're going to see it gives you the module information, the module start information, if it's complete. And then we've even put in the slides viewed and the required reflective questions. Now we do have some courses that have unrequired reflective questions. It could be that we've changed the course over the years and felt like some of the questions are no longer as relevant as they initially were, or we've had requests from the presenter themselves to make edits. So it could be that they've done more reflective questions than what's required, and that's fine, but it's looking for how many are required. Same thing with the slides. Don't panic if you see your teachers getting credit and they've not completed all of the slides. We have it set up so that they have to complete a certain percentage to allow for them to skip maybe the introductions or the survey at the end. So it's not necessary that they hit every single slide to get all of the information. There are some slides that don't really have course info on there, so it's not necessary that they view every single one to get credit. So you have your information about the reflective questions, the slides, and then whether or not the module is complete or not. And again, you have your column chooser where you can bring in more information or less information, and you can apply your filters as needed. So if we want to see just one order, you can search like that. And again, like I was explaining earlier, if it's giving you an error when you try to export, it's just bringing back too much information. This is going to be a large report because it's looking at, a breakdown of all of the modules. So if you've been in our system for 10 years and you've done several core orders with us, they're going to have a lot of modules for each user. So if it's giving you that error, it might be good to break it down by order until we get those date formats. And even when we get the date filters, you might still need to break it down by order to see information that's a little filtered so that you're not bringing back, our entire database or 10 years of our database. The reflective question reports, like I was explaining, we pulled the reflective question responses out of the course detail, so that now they're in their own report. Another thing that we did that we probably needed to do for a while is we pulled the HTML formatting out of the reflective questions. One of our support team members took the painful task of going in and editing every single reflective question for our live courses to get that formatting out of there so that it's not, bulking up that information and making it difficult to read. So now when you look at this report, you're only going to see the actual simple text for the question, and then you'll be able to see your teacher's responses for each question. So obviously this is us testing, so you'll see a lot of silly data here where we're just like testing or whatever to get information in there where we can get credit quickly for the course. But when you review this for your teachers, some of these questions are quite long. So you probably shouldn't see one-word responses for most of them. So if you're seeing that a lot, it might mean that your teachers might need to go back in there and go back into that reflective question and give it a little bit more information. So like the other reports, you have your column chooser where you can bring in more data, bring in less data. You can do the grouping like in the other ones, and then apply the filters and export to Excel. Once again, we will get some dates on there for you guys. So because these do bring back a lot of data, if you get the unspecified network error, it might be good just to pull in an order name to get that information applied and filtered down a little bit. And if you don't know where to find your orders, you just go to My Orders here, and you can see a list of all of your orders. You can filter it by expired or by active. And then you're able to go in and see, just pull this order information and apply it to the filter. Any questions on this one? So I'll show you one other thing that we've recently done, because we've had requests for it over the years, that I think you guys will like and you may not have noticed yet. So we have actually made it where you can bulk download the certificates for a single user. So if you are in Manage Participants and you need to print off all of the certificates for a single user, you can come in here and just view them all and get them all in one quick click. And that was a recent upgrade that we've made. We will be applying that to the teacher dashboard soon. We have some revamps that we're currently in the middle of for the teacher dashboard, but I do foresee us doing that for that one as well, where we apply that, where they can quickly get that data to you.
That's an excellent improvement there.
I thought so too.